All right, moving on, David, I want to talk about our headline. The Trump-Stormy Daniels case in New York. And it's because we had a bunch of accountants on the stand. And the headlines that have come out of this case regarding the accountants are pretty hilarious. The Daily Beast had my favorite. Trump accountant on his Stormy Daniels cover-up notes. I made a boo-boo. He literally said that on the stand. Yeah. Jeffrey McConney said, quote, I made a boo-boo when describing the erroneous math he scribbled on Trump corporate letterhead. The former Trump Organization controller testified about the notes he took during a January 2017 meeting that laid out how the family real estate company was going to surreptitiously reimburse attorney Michael Cohen for fronting the $130,000 that silenced the porn star Stormy Daniels. That payment kept her from going public about her decade-old one-night stand with Trump in the days before the 2016 presidential election. The farce was laid out in black and white with handwritten notes explaining the fuzzy math at play. Cohen would be paid $180,000, which was doubled on paper so that it would make up for the roughly 50% taxes the Midtown Manhattan resident would have to pay in federal, state, and city taxes. McConney wrote, quote, $180,000 times 2 for taxes, unquote, in black pen on the bright white paper. On the witness stand, he admitted the company was fine having it grossed up to ensure Cohen got his proper share. The sham continued when tallying up Cohen's bonus. Initially, $50,000 was marked as paid to Red Finch for tech services, but that seemed to morph instead to mean $60,000 for Cohen himself. And then it goes on, and I guess like they went into detail on this like handwritten note, and he basically like made some math errors or something. There's actually a picture of it. It's kind of funny. You want to see this?
Yeah, well, you're pulling that up.
So like this is like the this is the accounting equivalent of like all the, you know, salacious details from the trial. Like we're not focused on like the Stormy Daniels testimony.
No,
like I could care less about like, you know, when did she take her clothes off and where did Donald Trump lying on the bed in his underwear, right? Like I'm more interested in, I want to see this.
I have a full screen of accounting quotes and stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Look, here it is right there on the Trump letterhead. It's the handwritten calculations of the reimbursement, and like it's crossed out. He added up 50, 180, 180, and he got 230, but then he had to cross it out because he made a math error. Oh my God. That's pretty funny.
There's some quotes that came through. So CNN Politics must have had somebody in the room, possibly. And so think about like a Twitter feed, right? Imagine if you were sitting in the courtroom and you just had to spit out little blurbs. So there's these little interactions of quotes they had from the trial. So one of them, the quote is, Trump.org accounting system was designed in the 90s and was antiquated by 2017, McConney confirms. And and he confirms this on the stand.
Wait, does he say what it was?
Did not say what it was.
Oh, I wish I could.
He said it was designed in the 90s. But here's the best part. He confirms that the drop-down categories used in the system were rigid. And anytime payments were made to an attorney, the legal expenses category was used. I'm like, yeah, if I open up our QuickBooks right now, Blake, and the only address I have is legal expenses.
So they were using the default chart of accounts?
Probably something.
I wonder if they were using like QuickBooks Desktop, right? You could say that's outdated by when? What was it? What was the date?
Oh, 2017. Yeah, it might be QuickBooks Desktop. We don't know. We don't know.
And they're using the default chart of accounts, right? They never customize it. It's all just legal.
Some of the quotes
expenses.
are just funny. So this is the Trump attorney, Emo Bove, B-O-V-E.
I don't know.
Asked if because he was testifying that he didn't. McConney was testifying he didn't speak to Trump very often. And then this was the question from the lawyer. When you did speak to him, you didn't talk about accounting software? And he said no. like that's what's coming up in these things. And then there's an email. There's an email that was sent, and it's really funny. The subject line is $2, and then it says, Mike, just a reminder to get me the invoice you spoke to Alan about. Thanks, Jeff. In reference to, because they're using code, right, to not actually talk about the thing that's happening a lot. But if you really step back, he's up on the stand. He's being asked about accounting software, 1099s that are issued, liability accounts, payments to Michael Cohen, checks, spreadsheets, invoices, retainers, expense reports, bank statements. This is an accounting 101 class. If I was an accounting 101 teacher and I would want to have a fun class next year, I would just take all these transactions and make make my students data entry them into QuickBooks or an accounting system. They're all simple transactions. It's very, very simple.
Oh, the payments to Michael Cohen. Yeah, use those in your examples.
Well, you
in
have a
accounting class.
liability, and then
Let's relieve this liability.
thing.
Oh my God, I would love that. Well, you know what the most ridiculous thing about this entire case is, in my humble opinion? It's the fact that the Trump organization is still using paper checks. I can't get this out of my head, right? And they were taking the checks to the White House for Trump to sign I assume in his residence or in the Oval Office. I don't know. The court was shown images of voided checks, including a $70,000 check signed by former Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg and Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump. They're writing paper checks.
Still signing them.
And still signing them. Maybe it would be easier to cover your tracks if you didn't have paper checks.
The part I don't get about this whole thing, and this is where over and over again, it feels like the Trump organization and the Trump method of doing things is really stupid. If you're Trump, don't you already have a separate bank account just set aside for just in case money? If I ever get rich enough, Blake, I'm going to have a just in case money that I can use for nefarious things that doesn't come out of my normal bank account and doesn't come out of the political funds. It's just the brain waves here.
Yeah.
Just don't make any sense.
Well, Michael Cohen was supposed to be Trump's fixer, and obviously wasn't very good at his job, right? I think that's the problem. There's a lot of people that work for Trump that are just really bad at their jobs. Rudy Giuliani is a great example. And he was in the news recently in connection with accounting because guess what? He can't find an accountant. How do you spell Giuliani? Because I'm trying to find this story in my database, and I'll just search Rudy. Nope, it's not coming up. I have this here. Come on, Rudy. There we go. Rudy Giuliani forced to learn accounting after bankruptcy bean counter bails. They're getting really good with these accounting headlines on the Daily Beast. Rudy Giuliani, facing bankruptcy, has been left to manage his own financial records after his accountant resigned and took a $12,000 fee, leaving no other professionals willing to take over the task. We found this out in a court filing because Giuliani's saying, hey, I need more time because my accountant bailed on me. Now, when your accountant bails on you, right, that generally indicates that you're a shitty person, in my opinion, because most accountants will put up with a lot of crap. And if you can't find an accountant to work with you, you're a terrible person.
Ben Borders can still work, apparently.
He should call it Ben Borgers. Man. Creditors are pressing the court, claiming Giuliani is exploiting the legal system to delay resolving his debts. Isn't that just a sad thing? I remember growing up and Giuliani was like this hero. He brought order to New York. He cleaned up the streets, and now look at him.
Blake, this is perfect for publicity for the show. Take him on as a client.
I'll clean up his books.
Do it. Take him on. This
Rudy
would be huge
Giuliani.
Publicity for us.
Our producer will have to make this into a TikTok. Rudy Giuliani, I'm a CPA. I will clean up your books for bankruptcy court. Go to blakeoliver.com, fill in my contact form. I'll do it.